You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and this is a conversation between myself and Chris Boltendahl. Chris is the frontman and sole foundation member left in Germany's Gravedigger. The reason for the conversation is to promote Gravedigger's upcoming release, The Living End, which is out on the 14th of September 2018. Let's have a listen to what Chris has to say. Here we go. Chris, Andrew Mackay-Smith calling. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, and you? Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm going very well. Yeah, I'm a bit tired today, to be honest with you, because I've been looking after my kids for the majority of the afternoon, and if you've got kids, you know what I'm talking about, mate. They wear you bloody down to the nub.
Definitely. I have one.
Oh, you know what I mean then, yeah. How's things been going for you, mate, since I know the album isn't released yet. It's released in the middle of September, though, but you must be excited that you've got this album coming out, because Chris Murray, he sent me through a copy of it, and it's one of those albums, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, I was actually surprised at how strong it was. It's ferocious.
Oh, okay.
So you've got to be excited about the strength of it, and also, too, the anticipation of what the fans are going to be thinking about
it. Yeah, for sure. And I'm really happy about this album because when we finished Healed by Metal, I thought by myself, okay, I make now 3 albums in a row with this more or less classical Gravedigger stuff. But now I want to look over the plate, and look a little bit left or right. And when I talked to Axel before we creating the new album, I said to him, "Hey, Axel, I need some visions." And they said, what, you need visions? Yes, I need visions from you. So send me all your stuff you have in your mind, and then we sort out what's interesting, what not. And meanwhile, I create some cool choruses and everything. Yeah, and then step by step, we create this one. And I think it's totally different to the previous one, Healed by Metal, but sounds like Gravedigger, but in a different way, and that is something I'm proud of.
The thing that I really noticed about it too, I'm a bass player, okay, so one other thing that really surprised me, and I think it's one of the best aspects of the album, is Jens's bass playing and the sound of it. I was listening to it with headphones on, and the bass contribution is exceptional. So was that by design, or when I say by design, did you give Jens specific instruction for how you wanted him to play, or is that his contribution to the album?
He's not involved in the songwriting, and Axel create all the bass lines more or less, and then Jens added his stuff to this. So it's a combination between Axel and Jens. And when he came into the studio, Jens he reproduced all the stuff, and I told him, Jens, it's the first time in Gravedigger you can now show what you can play, and after 20 years you have the possibility to show your talent, and then he took the chance, and he made a great job on this album.
20 years, you're spot on. He's been in the band since 1998, so this is the first time where he's really been given a license to do his own thing. Is that right?
Yeah, if you deal with a different view on this album, so I do some different things like I did in the past. Axel did some different, so it's the reason why Jens could also some different things on this album,
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's the guitar sound is excellent. It's very clear. Axel's always been, well, certainly since the albums that I've heard since 2009. I'm not aware of the other bands that he's been in prior to joining you and joining forces with you. But he's a very articulate player in that you can hear every note that he's playing. Very crisp note selections. So I think it really enhances a lot of the songs that you're writing.
I'm writing the lyrics, and I'm writing all melodies, also for the choruses, for the verses, and then I tell him my ideas, and then we start creating all the guitar around that. But I think 90% of the guitar work is definitely from Axel, but he's following most of my advices, and that is a good combination. That is something like Metal Twins can do, and yeah, I think it's growing. It's growing from album to album, and with the previous guitar players, it was that we have a peak on the first 2-3 albums, I think, and then it's the peak going down a little bit, but with Axel we start with The Clans Will Rise Again, and then I think it's going up the peak, and that is something that makes me very hopefully for the future for Gravedigger.
Yeah, agreed. Now, I can't count how many albums you've done, but it's in the vicinity of 15, I think, isn't it? At this
point, 20s.
20s, my God. Okay, so you had a period of time, though, where the band, now correct me if I'm wrong here again, but the band adopted 2 different monikers. Now, I went onto YouTube before our conversation and I checked them out. There was the band, and you, as I say, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the band went under the moniker Digger, and then you adopted a brand new moniker, which was very different, which is Hawaii. So talk to me. Look, honestly, I thought the music was great, and I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't say it unless I felt it. I just wouldn't say anything. But I was listening to the cuts from the band Hawaii that you were spearheading, and it sounds pretty bloody good. So have you got plans to, I wouldn't say revisit that part of your career, but re-release some albums, or maybe there's a trend these days for cassettes and to release things on cassettes, and I reckon that'd be a wonderful treat for fans.
Yeah, I don't have it by myself, this demo tape, and it was a time where we lost completely our direction, and it was between the Digger album and the Reaper album, and most of the stuff we created on this as Hawaii is used for the Reaper album, at least,
Okay.
And released under Gravedigger name. So, but that was funny. I don't know. We drank a lot of beer and other alcoholics in this time, and then somebody came. We have to do something different, and let's call us Hawaii. And we wear all these Hawaii shorts, these colored things, and all this stuff. And but at least we got the redirection someday to Gravedigger again. That was really happy.
Well, I think people, if anybody's critical of that period, they need to understand it was a very, very different era, and you had a lot of pressure, no doubt, put on you to produce a certain sound and to conform per the record company's instructions. So it doesn't surprise me at all. Every band through the 80s, there's a few that didn't, like Overkill have sort of more or less stayed the course pretty much all the way through, but I think every band had a period of time where the fans probably didn't recognise some of the music and some of the image that the band was presenting, but it's still great music, though. That's the thing. The thing about your output in Hawaii, even the Digger album, I think the Digger album gets unfairly criticised, mainly, of course, because of the change of the band name, but the music isn't that different from the music you were producing for the previous, since Heavy Metal Breakdown. Really, it's not a massive leap. It's not like... I like Celtic Frost, okay, so let me be clear about that, but it's not as different as what Cold Lake sounds compared to, say, to Megatherion, for example.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When we made the original demo for the Digger album, it was pure heavy metal. And then the record company came up with this idea, we have to do something different because we want to enter the American market, and you can be successful there. But at the end, we cut out some trademarks of the band. We put it in some more keyboards. But the basic of the songs are real Gravedigger. And we did one reversion. We covered one song on the Exhumation album, Stand Up and Rock. And it was very simple to re-record this thing because it's metal,
Yeah.
But at this time when we recorded the Digger album, we put some more keywords in it and everything. I did some softer vocals sometimes. But this was all the idea of the producer, who called Mick Jackson. So...
Yeah.
But it's in the beginning it was a pure Gravedigger album demo. What we recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I say, it doesn't sound too different. And look, I mentioned Celtic Frost in there, and I understand that you toured with them. I think you were promoting the Witch Hunter album, so that would have been when the band had released. Oh, I can't think of the name of the album off the top of my head now. Normally, I'd be able to get it out, but of course, right now when I need it, I can't remember it. But what was it like?
Well, War Games, I think.
War Games, was it? There you go, War Games. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, spot on. That was a 1986 album, I think. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So Celtic Frost, and I think he toured with Halloween as well. So Martin Eric Ain, of course, is no longer with us, a tremendous bass guitarist and a part of the visionary duo behind Celtic Frost. So what are your memories of performing with Celtic Frost on that tour?
Yes, it was in 1986, and
Yeah.
I remember the tour very well because every second show, Halloween cancelled or Celtic Frost cancelled. It was a three-band package.
God. Yeah.
But Gravedigger was the only band which played every night. And one night it was Halloween with us, and one night it was Celtic Frost with us. That was really funny because Tom and Kai, they were damaged their voices
Right,
every second day. And but we were the only band which played every night. That was a funny tour. A lot of alcohol on this tour, a lot of
I can imagine.
crazy shit. Crazy shit.
I can imagine, yeah.
I never saw Tom again since this tour. That is funny. Kai I see really often here in Germany, but since 1986 tour, I never saw Tom again. So I don't know what happened with them.
Yeah, it's a shame. I think they're a band that, as great as what they are, and as I've already explained, I'm a massive fan. I think there's a lot of unrealised potential there. You know, there's only really a handful of albums, a bit like Guns N' Roses, really, isn't there? Massively revered, but there's not a broad catalogue there really to draw from. There's only really 3 or 4 albums there to take it from. And as I say, Cold Lake, I think, got a very bad rap from people, but I think people were more focused on the photos that they took than the music itself, and that's sort of just highlights people's attention spans, really, doesn't it? Let's not focus on the music. Let's focus on what the photos look like. You know, so that brings me, and I do find I was showing my kids the album cover to the Digger album and of the Duck. So tell me the story behind the Duck.
The Dark Gravedigger albums or the covers?
The cover, yeah. So is it Stronger Than Ever? Yeah, the Duck that's on the front of the Stronger Than Ever cover.
That was it was not directly for us created. We got this from an artist as an offer, and he offered us different things, and I liked this because we, as I told you before, we were totally weird at this time, and we thought that we can be the biggest rock stars like Bon Jovi and everybody there. So we choose the Duck and the metal Duck, you know, because we wanted to go this between commercial and heavy metal.
Yeah.
So that was why we called this album Stronger Than Ever, and choose this metal Duck. It's crazy. That time was we lost completely our direction in 87, 88, 89 before we got the redirection to Gravedigger again.
Yeah, look, I understand your point.
But I think a lot of bands did this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. Most bands through the 80s lost their way and not, I wouldn't say, sorry, I correct myself, experimented or had a lot of pressure to do different things. Okay, so
Chameleon from Halloween.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that's not great, is it? Yeah, that's an interesting one, that one there. Yeah, there was some, yeah, I don't know, what do you say? When you sign with a record company, and the record company is financially responsible for the band, they're going to more or less determine the direction of the band, not the artists and not the musicians in the band. And I think a lot of fans have got to understand that that was just the way the record company operated through the tail end of the 70s, all of the 80s, and certainly most of the 90s. That's what I think, anyway. Are you still there? Oh, sorry, you're still there. Yep, great. No worries. Australia. Have you had much interaction with us over the years?
In Australia?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have no idea what happened in Australia with the metal scene. We never played there. I saw never a heavy metal magazine from Australia. So, for me, it's Australia. It's for me a complete, white point on the earth of heavy metal. And I hope that we one day can play there. But in 38 years, we didn't reach this goal so far.
Well, I think he'd be well received down here if ever there was an offer from a promoter or an agency for you to come down here, such as very credible agencies. There's a few down here. Destroy All Lines and Soundworks Touring are very good. Bring down a lot of European metal acts, very extreme metal acts through to power metal, everything. And I think you'd be surprised, mate, if you ever took the chance on coming down. I remember many years ago when Ed Guy came down, maybe in a similar position to you guys, completely unaware of there was a fan base or anybody would even turn up to the shows. I think the shows were sold out. So,
Okay.
of course, it depends on the size of the room, doesn't it? But still, there are a lot of venues that cater toward a band like Gravedigger, such as Crowbar here in Brisbane, that probably have a capacity of maybe, I could be completely wrong here, but I wouldn't say more than, say, 300, 400 people. And you could probably fill one of them quite easily, I'd imagine.
I hope so. One day, another dream will come true, so we will visit Australia.
Okay, mate, when you look back over your career, it's a very long career, mate. You've been going for 4 decades, so congratulations on that, by the way, because you're obviously very resilient and you've had a lot of vision to keep on going. But what gives you the greatest source of sense of accomplishment and pride?
I think when I was a young guy, it was in 1974, I saw a Deep Purple cover band in my school at this time. And from this moment on, I wanted to be a rock star and play music and singing. From this time, I was following this target, and through all highs and depths in my life. And I believe in this music. That is the music I grew up with. And that is the music I love, and that is the motor, the energy behind my creativity, And 38 years is a long time, and I saw all the aspects from down on the higher level, on the deeper level, and we played in front of 15 people, and we played in front of 80,000 people, and yes, but. All these aspects and all this experience made me to the person I am today, and I'm a happy and relaxed guy. I'm found my inner self, and I love to create music. That's all. When we finished the Living Dead album, and we got the final mixes and we delivered them to the record company. One day later, Axel and I will talk on the phone. And what do we do on the next one? What ideas we have? What can we do? And we are thinking now for the next one again. And Axel and I, we are like what I told you before. We are like metal twins, and we are restless. We can't stop. And I think in 1 year we start again. Creating a new one.
Well, as I said, congratulations again, mate. I'd love to see you down here, and it's an excellent album, this recent album that you've put out. The fans should just lap it up here. The Living Dead, phenomenal stuff. So, well done, mate, and thank you very much for the conversation. Most appreciated.
Thank you very much, and have a nice night.
You too. No worries, mate. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, bye.
Bye. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was a conversation between myself and Chris Boltendahl. Chris is the frontman for Germany's Gravedigger. Thank you so much for listening.